Good day, Professor. This is Anthony Martinez, and today we're going to be going over my shape of water film analysis. Let's begin. Shape of Water. What is The Shape of Water? The Shape of Water is a drama fantasy film that came out in 2017, directed by Guillermo del Toro. I can never pronounce his name correctly. Film takes place in the city of Baltimore in the 1960s, sometime during the Civil War era, where a maid named Eliza Esposito lives above a theater, and she also is a maid at a top secret government facility. Working at the top secret facility, she stumbles across an amphibious-like creature, and she immediately starts to bond with it and starts to build a relationship with it. Eliza Esposito is also a mute. She cannot speak and uses sign language to communicate. Eliza finds out the creature is to be exterminated, and she wants to help him escape and release him back where he came from. Character list. We got Eliza Esposito. She's the protagonist slash maid. Here she is right here. We got Richard Strickland. He's an antagonist, head of the government facility that she works at. Also in charge for this amphibious man right here. Giles is Eliza's neighbor slash best friend. They're very close. Zelda Fuller is also a maid. She's Eliza's co-worker, and she also helps Eliza communicate at her workplace. Of course, we got the amphibious man that was taken from the Amazon. Who's under the care of Richard Strickland now. So these are the 6 concepts we'll be going over today: critical thinking, relationship with friends, proxemics, arousal, hostile work environment, and generalized complaining. Critical listening. Okay. Critical listening is listening with the goal of evaluating or analyzing. Most oftentimes, if you're critically listening, you're also critically thinking. You're taking the time to actually hear what is being said rather than just hearing what somebody is saying. So the scene that I will be showing you, Eliza is trying to explain to Giles that the facility she's working at is going to kill this amphibious man she once told them about. And she explains her relation to the amphibious man and why she cares so much about him, and she wants to try to help him escape before he's killed. Giles immediately dismisses her because the task seems nearly impossible, breaking into a government facility and taking an asset of theirs. When Eliza realizes she's not being heard, Eliza jumps in front of Giles as he's walking out the door, dismissing her, and that is when he starts to critically listen to what Eliza is saying and explains further why he thinks it's a bad idea to try to help this creature.
Out? What are you talking about? No, absolutely not. Because it's breaking the law, that's what. Probably breaking the law just talking about it. Oh, he's alone. Oh. Now, does this mean that whenever we go to a Chinese restaurant, you want to save every fish in the tank? So what if he's alone? We're all alone. The loneliest thing you've ever seen. Well, you just said it, right? You just said it. You called it a thing. It's a thing. It's a freak. I can understand you. Calm down. God, calm down. All right, I will repeat it to you. What am I? I move my mouth like him. I make no sound like him. What does that make me? All that I am, all that I've ever been, brought me here to him. See, you're saying him. It's a him now. It's a... You just hit me. Oh, Eliza, let go of me. I'm looking. You've never quite hit me. When he looks at me, the way he looks at me, he does not know what I lack or how I am incomplete. He sees me for what I am, as I am. He's happy to see me. Every time, every day. And now I can either save him or let him die. I'm leaving. I have to. No, I have to leave. Just, please stop. Listen to me. Just listen to me. I have to go. I'm leaving now because this, Eliza, this is very important to me. This is a second chance for me. I'm sorry, but I have to go. And, oh, God. When I come back, we just will not talk about this ever again. Eliza, there's... Oh, all right. What are we? What are you and I? Do you know what we are? We are nothing. Nothing. We can do nothing. I'm sorry, but this is just... Oh, God, it's not even human. God. What?
Very powerful
Ouch.
scene.
What are you talking about?
Go to the next slide. Proxemics. Okay, we're also going to be using that same clip for this proxemics sign. So as you saw there, the proxemics is the study of how close and how far away people are when they communicate. In that same clip, Eliza is trying to explain to Giles that they must help this amphibious man. Eliza sees that she is not being taken serious enough and Giles is blowing her off. And she uses the power of proxemics to get her point across. She, at the beginning of the scene, she was in Giles's social space, 4 to 12 feet. And she's immediately jumps into his immediate space, which is 0 to 18 inches, getting his full attention. By doing this, Giles is forced to acknowledge the situation at hand and at a much deeper level. Relationship with friends. Friendships is a relationship where there are no formalities and individuals enjoy each other's presence. Adulthood friendships are highly valued and oftentimes have more important roles in each other's lives. So what that means is, your adulthood friends relationship, your adulthood friendships are going to be way more important to you than they ever were. Just friendships in general are going to be more valued to you. You're going to be more reliant on that person for whatever you're going through in life. And it's not all fun times. There are serious moments in friendships that are also valued. That is taken, I think that is exemplified in adulthood friendships. Example in the movie, in the opening scene, Eliza's woken up by her alarm and she begins her day. She starts going through her morning routine, brushing her teeth, taking a shower, a couple other things. And she's making food as well on the stove. After she walks out her front door, she instinctively goes to the door next door, which is where her best friend Giles lives. She takes some food and he's already up and working. Giles acknowledges the food and says, "If it weren't for you, I'd waste away in here." And Eliza then proceeds to head off to work. And, the fact that Giles acknowledges the food and says, "If it weren't for you, I'd waste away," it just shows like their dependency on each other and how Eliza is just more than willing to go to his house. She seems to be enjoying her moments with him, even if it is only dropping off food for the few seconds that she was at his place. She seemed very cheerful in the scene. Okay, arousal. Feeling of interest and excitement communicated by such nonverbal cues, vocal expressions, facial expressions, and gestures. So this is exemplified in the movie when the tub scene, or the AKA the love scene, as they call it on YouTube. The amphibious man is in the bathtub and Eliza is putting more salt and nutrients for him to live because he can't survive on just water. While she's doing this, she starts to admire his glowing skin. Every time she touches it, it sparked. It glowed a little bit. It had a blue hue to it. And as she's touching his chest, the amphibious man touches her back in the same way across the chest. Eliza starts to show signs of arousal, and she's immediately made uncomfortable from the situation and storms out of the room immediately. The amphibious man kind of seemed confused about it, and Eliza also seemed confused about her feelings for this amphibious man. She realizes she's aroused and storms out of the building, but only to go back in and to essentially mate with this amphibious creature. Very interesting movie. Okay. Hostile work environment. Type of sexual harassment in which employees' rights are threatened through offensive work conditions or behavior on the part of workers. So this could be your boss coming on to you unprofessionally, or coworkers making a comment about what somebody's wearing. It's just derogatory statements that would generally make somebody uncomfortable, or women specifically, if said in a work environment. And this is exemplified in a scene. I'll have a clip here where Eliza and Zelda are cleaning the men's restroom because they are maids, and Richard Strickland walks in and wastes no time whipping it out and going to the urinal. Just immediately starts taking a leak in front of these two ladies, and they seem to be very taken. It came out of nowhere, essentially. They were not expecting this. They seemed very uncomfortable with him just walking in there and being right in front of the two ladies. Also, as Eliza puts down her towels next to the sinks, Strickland's able to get off a couple sexual innuendos, the quote specifically. He's like, you can look, but don't touch that dingus. There is a cow prod or something like that. Yeah, he was talking about his prodding stick near Eliza's hand, and essentially it's just a big black stick. And using those calling it a dingus and using those references just made her more uncomfortable to the situation. It just didn't seem appropriate. And here's our clip.
Excuse us, sir.
No. That's all right. Go ahead. You ladies seem to be chatting enjoyably. Girl talk, no doubt. Don't mind me. Look, don't touch. That lovely dingus right there is an Alabama Howdy Do. Molded grip handle, low current, high voltage, electric shock cattle prod. Name's Strickland, security.
Fleming Security.
Oh, no. A man washes his hands before or after tending to his needs. It tells you a lot about a man. He does it both times. Points to a weakness in character. Ladies, it was very pleasant chatting with you both.
That's the actor Michael Shannon. He's a great villain. He almost seems to play the villain in every movie he stars in. He's the perfect bad guy. Okay. Generalized complaining, a disconfirming message that implies character fault. Disconfirmation or a disconfirming message is a type of message set to someone to communicate that they are not valued by the sender. So the person stating the message is communicating that you're lesser or you are, it's just derogatory. Usually it's meant to, prod at their ego, essentially. So in the example shown in the movie, Strickland is investigating the disappearance of the amphibious man is essentially going through he's essentially going through everyone's going through all the workers of the facility and investigating, asking questions, and Eliza and Zelda are called in. And after they bring nothing of value to him, he then calls them piss cleaners. And it just seemed to, it's just a very nasty message meant to hurt them. He's called them the help, like, why am I asking the help / piss cleaners to help me in this investigation? Kind of saying that they're unimportant and what would they know? What they just clean for a living, implying that. Conclusion. Okay, so there are many takeaways to this movie, but I think the main point of this movie is no matter how unique or different or how unfinished you may think you are, your voice can make a difference. And I think Eliza is a perfect example of that, seeing as she accomplished this impossible task of freeing a amphibious creature from a top secret government facility. Like, that's quite the feat. And on top of that, she is a mute. And she uses her communication skills to effectively communicate, to get her points across loud and clear. And I think Eliza's perfect example of small person, big voice. And that is my film analysis for The Shape of Water. Thank you for your time. Goodbye.